we use cooking as an example, let's say you train a robot to cook with French techniques for French cooking, right? So a human being, if they go to a culinary school, learn how to cook French style, you say now apply the techniques you've learned and go and cook a Japanese dish. A good chef can do that. But currently, Transformers, if you train a system on French cuisine and you say, all right, now make a Chinese dish, it won't know because
Yeah.
it's not generalized.
Welcome to Practical AI, everybody. My name's Jeff. I'm here with Peter Lynn. We are sponsored by Pocket AI. Pocket AI is a tool that you can use to prune your models. You can prune over 60% of the weights from your model without decreasing accuracy. In fact, you will improve it. You can also find us on Spotify, so look for us there. Peter, today we are going to talk a little bit again about OpenAI and this claim of superintelligence. So if you can, why don't you tell us a little bit about what happened this week?
Yeah, basically, OpenAI is gearing up to release their AGI, their general intelligence. And they've defined it to be different, partly because the skeptics in the field keep moving the goalposts of like what constitutes a artificial general intelligence, an AGI. And so in order for them to work as a business, they've said, well, okay, we're going to define these different tiers of AGI. And so now they're saying, hey, we've already achieved it, and so we're going to release it. And that's also why they're going to switch from a nonprofit to a for-profit.
Switch. Yeah, just make the switch just because it's that
Yeah.
easy. Okay, so to a certain degree, there's a little bit of and we've talked about this before, there's a little sleight of hand here, right? Because to attain something that you define is a lot easier than having some sort of standard out there. So in your opinion, is it fair for OpenAI to define AGI so that they can hit it?
I don't know if that's fair or not fair as a way to frame it. To me, it's a matter of their business. So they have to have a well-defined definition that they can then march towards for each product release. So if they define 4 different levels, they can know, okay, level 1 is this, level 2 is that, and level 3. And we can include the link in the description of their definition of the different levels of AGI. But so the classic problem the last 20 years is no one can really define what an AGI is, right? Like because every time researchers reach a certain goal, skeptics say, well, no, that's not really AGI. And they redefine it. So they keep moving the goalpost. So from that perspective, you open AI and you want to be able to say, okay, we achieve level 1 or level 2, that has to be kind of pretty stable, well defined. But also, I mean, obviously it serves them because they don't have to, well, their engineers don't have to keep changing what they're doing to meet a new definition.
Would you say that they are being practical then in terms of this whole AGI
Yeah.
conversation?
I would say yes, because in my 20 years of building software, the hardest thing is when the customer changes the requirements on you halfway through, and they're like, "Hey, you screwed up because you didn't meet all these requirements that I have." And it's like, "Well, but our statement of work said here's the 10 requirements, and you added 20 more."
Would you say that they're being have they picked a low bar, or is their bar fairly, is it a good bar?
I would say it's a low bar, but I mean, selfishly as a programmer and a developer, you want to set the bar low so you can make incremental progress. If you set it too high, then you're never going to reach it. So if you set the bars to be attainable, so level 1 is attainable, then you can look at what happens with level 1. You release it. Does it blow up? Does it work? Does it fail miserably? Can you then reach level 2? And so, but that in itself is an art. You have to know enough, have an experience to define what those levels are so that you can actually hit them. Because if you're open AI and you define level 2 to be too hard and you can't release it in 1 year or a year and a half, then your board and your investors are going to be pretty angry.
Yeah, the investor thing is a huge thing, right? Especially when you're pioneering, right? In the pioneer space, why not set your own rules, right? Why not to write the rules of the game? Because no one can argue, really.
Well, you kind of have to, because if you're taking $10 billion from United Emirates or Microsoft, you can't just say, well, sorry, we didn't hit the deadline.
Right, right. Okay, so as we look at AGI, how do you see that as different than artificial superintelligence? So the general intelligence versus super.
I'd say super is not really going to be attainable with the current approach. So I think there's going to be multiple tracks. There's probably going to be multiple tracks to attain super intelligence. One of them is the meta group, they're using the JEPA approach,
Excuse me, the what approach?
the JEPA approach, the
Okay.
embedded approach. Then there's Ilya Sutskever's got his approach. So there's at least two. There's probably gonna be more.
And
So
how
yeah,
would you
there's gonna
define
be.
that? How would you define it different than AGI, super intelligence?
It's pretty clear now that regular transformers, where they are today, do not generalize, which means that like you just have to keep giving it more and more data, and we've already reached a point where there's not enough data. They have to generate synthetic data. So we've already seen that it doesn't generalize. It's hit a limit, and that's why they switched to O1.
So you would say general intelligence is something like I can feed it a bunch of maps, but the minute it can read a map that it's never seen before, that's generalized.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. And it's not showing promise at doing that. It's showing better promise at showing variations of stuff that it's seen before.
Exactly.
Okay,
Right. It'd be
so
like this. If we use cooking as an example, let's say you train a robot to cook with French techniques for French cooking, right? So a human being, if they go to a culinary school, learn how to cook French style, you say now apply the techniques you've learned and go and cook a Japanese dish. A good chef can do that. But currently, Transformers, if you train a system on French cuisine and you say, all right, now make a Chinese dish, it won't know because
yeah.
it's not generalized.
And then how does general intelligence compare to super intelligence? Like what are they trying to attain there in the super side?
So the super side is where not only does it generalize, but it's actually able to direct itself to learn new things that humans have never considered.
Okay. And then how do you think that that will compare to human intelligence? Will it be an extended super smart human, or will it be something different?
Well, it won't be a human because humans have feelings and we have internal monologues and we have moral dilemmas and we have irrational thoughts and feelings.
Yeah.
Yeah. So could a transformer feel? I would say no. Right? Because a transformer only runs when you feed it input. It's not like it's constantly processing things. It's not constantly processing the environments and it's not creating its own inputs. Right? Like humans, we can sit in a room in the dark and we can feel and think things with no input. Today, transformer models and LLMs don't do that. So there isn't this in philosophy, there's this concept of a priori where there's an innate something that exists before input from the outside, from external stimuli. And so robots and language models don't have these things. There's no a priori. So it's like so in that sense, they're not sentient because they're not existing just in of itself.
Makes sense. So if we go back to the OpenAI AGI claim that they've already attained it, but they're using transformers, and you're saying they'll never attain AGI. Where's the rub between you and OpenAI? What's different between what they're saying and what you're saying?
Well, so what I'm saying is it's still useful, and it's good that they have definitions that they can kind of develop towards and milestones. But is it actually bigger than what it is? No. It's just a product release to me. And
Okay.
it's still useful. Like if I want to give it a document and say, give me the cliff notes, it's great at that.
Yeah.
But if I give it a stack trace from Azure and ask it, what's causing this error? Every time I've tried in the last year, garbage. It's completely useless.
All right. Well, we'll have to see how OpenAI with O1 tries to improve and actually generalize while climbing up their success tree a little bit and
Yep.
already claiming AGI, right?
Yep.
Good stuff, Peter. Thanks for the discussion. Like I said, you can find us on Spotify, and we will, of course, answer any questions that you have. New topics next week, and we will see you then. Take care, everybody.